Good morning. Good morning. Welcome back to the Nook. I am going to work on a quick video of making banner tucks. And I'm going to show you how to make several different kinds the way I like to. We may have Doodle involved in the video. He appears to want to bark this morning. Let's jump in. First thing that I do is take pages from a book and I decide what kinds of pieces I want to use, and that's how wide I make it. It could be an inch and 3/4, 2 inches. So I mark how wide I want it, use a tear ruler and tear the strips to the right length. And then I always make them, for some reason, 6 inches long so I can fold them in half, and they're 3 inches here. And then I just fold them in half at the bottom. Okay, I fold it over at the bottom and I go from the inside to the outside corner. And that's it. And they have their cut. And they are ready to go. Sometimes the print is upside down and it doesn't matter because it's covered enough that you just see that there is print. Sometimes I make sure, depending on what I'm making, that the print is the right side because it is going to show. And this is one of the pieces from my quilt top digital kit. This is a picture of my great-grandmother's quilt, and as you can see, it's starting to shatter. It's from the middle to late 1800s, and the stems are starting to shatter. That is from my quilt top pieces kit, and I just went in and changed my printer settings to make it a smaller percentage, you know, not print at 100%, and I got the size for these. This is another piece from the quilt top or the quilted pieces digital kit, and it's a bow tie quilt. It's an antique quilt, and you can see the quilting stitches on the plain parts of the bow tie. And then this is a piece from my Vintage Linens Embroidery digital kit. And again, I just printed it at a smaller size percentage and printed that out. Okay, I want to show you my Quilt Blocks digital kit, and you'll have to forgive me. I've been distress inking some of the other banner pieces, and so I got a big old thumbprint right here when I picked these up. So this is the first sheet in my quilt top kit. This is the tumbling blocks, and it has a sawtooth border. And then here we have sunflowers. Love that. And here's an antique quilt, and it is bow tie pattern. And I don't know if you can tell, but there's some thread that I've left here in the image. This is the regular 9 patch, and that is the square here. I've just left pieces along the edges. And this is the fan. I love the different fabrics in this one. It's so fun. This is my great-grandmother's quilt, and see, you can see where it has started to shatter. The silk that was used in it has started to shatter. I just love it. It's wonderful. Believe it or not, this is a bow tie. I call it Bohemian bow tie pattern because it is so busy you can almost not even pick out the bow tie, which the bow tie is here and it goes across and it's here. These are usually kept plain, but not in this one. And I think this looks really super bohemian, but I think it could look great in a summer journal too. It'd be really pretty. Here's the Grandmother's Garden quilt top block. And then this one I'm just going to call an octagon because I'm not real sure what this pattern is. It could be another type of tumbling blocks. I don't know. And then here's what I call pinwheel. And it's another antique. And then I give you borders. And these are just sections of each quilt top piece. And I've printed them this way so that you could use them as you would be using lace or seam binding. And of course, this shows you that you can make them at a smaller size. That's all I was trying to show here, is that you can make them a smaller size. And that is my quilt top digital kit that I just wanted to show you because I'm using some of the pieces today in this particular tutorial. It's not a tutorial. Craft along with me. It's early morning. So I wanted to show you how you don't throw anything away. You know how we keep everything? It's wonderful. So look, I made one of the base pieces, and then I just cut out some of the lace I had. It was wider up here, so I cut it to perfectly fit this banner, and then I left I cut around the two flowers and I left them a little bit wider. You could go back. I've left it open like this. I may leave it like that. You could go back and put another something in there. But right now I'm just going to leave it like that until I have a home for it in a journal. And then I'll decide if I want to do anything more to it. But I love that. And so that's showing you lace. This one I haven't done anything. I haven't glued it down yet. Just cut it out. Another, this is a long piece of lace like this. Can you see it? Yeah, it's like this. So I just cut one of them out and cut the bottom off to make this. And so it is simply a medallion, and I'm going to put it up here a little above the banner. And there you go. If you want, you could ink, you could watercolor behind it, you could ink. You don't have to. You could do just a simple netting of another color behind it, or piece of fabric behind it. And there you go. And then this is using one of those wonderful medallions I have from my niece's wedding dress. And it has all kinds of sequins and pearls, and you probably can't see any of them, but that's okay. So what this is I put down fabric, and we all have it, from a piece that you're cutting up. You love the edging on it. You don't know what to do with all the yards of white space. Well, here's what you do. You cut them out and you glue them on your banners and your tags as a background. Isn't that perfect? And then I took just a tiny bit of pink cheesecloth and put the medallion from the wedding dress, from the fabric on top of that. And then we're just going to make sure that everybody fits in the borders of this banner. And then they just get glued on. And there you go. You have it. This beautiful, really, really beautiful piece. If you wanted to, you could embellish something up here. Not necessary. So I just wanted to show you those super, super quick and easy ones, not involved at all. And all of these are really fast and easy types of banners. Here we have just some wide lace that I cut, glued on, and then I made an eyelet. I made an eyelet hole with my crocodile and put in the eyelet. And I decided to make a tassel for this banner. And it's just some sari silk ribbon, a piece of lace that's left over, this beautiful trim I love, and this gorgeous piece of, it was cut off of something that I measured it wrong. And it's white velvet ribbon with bronze and brass beads, and then the gold thread that zigzags through them. And so on top, I put a truly antique button from my great-grandmother's stash. And you can tell because it is super paper thin. Do you see how thin that button is right there? Wow. So this is from the 1800s, this button. And I just put it on there for a beautiful extra on top. And then I made this one that's kind of a creamy white. Put a little tiny thin strip of velvet ribbon down this side. Another one of those buttons. Look at how thin that is. And then here is this tassel. And I decided just to put an applique piece on top. And that comes in my applique pack. And here are some of the borders from my borders pack, my crochet borders pack. Some leftover lace, some sari silk, and some chiffon sari silk. Just in here making up a beautiful little tassel. Okay, so you have those laces that have dangles, right? So here we go. Sorry about the glue on my fingers. I went in and put just an eyelet fabric, if I can get it, just some eyelet fabric. And that is the background here. That's what's here. And then I took dangles, good grief, from lace that dangled down. I cut off the dangles, 2 of them. They're each different. And glued them on. And then I put one applique over the top of each one. Simple, simple. And I made a couple of those because I have a couple of blue and white journals coming up. I thought those would be pretty in. And so those are just some other options. Paper. I took one of Tracy Fox's beautiful label kits and made it smaller and cut out a label. That's this beautiful bamboo with the red and brown on the background. And then I took a graphic 45, not 49 in market, graphic 45 piece and cut the bee out. This is a random extra cut of sari silk that I didn't throw away. And then this is a little brass filigree, metal filigree on it. So there you go with paper. You can use paper. I thought I might put together one real quick. I have this one, and I decided just to glue it at the top. And so it is, again, some lace that I glued down on the banner. And then we're just going to gather some cheesecloth. And this is a piece from something similar to this that I've just been cutting on. And I think I want a little bit bigger piece to go across here. And so every bit works. You just lay it on there, and then she's going to go on the top and just be glued across the top. And I've put a little antique button in the middle of that with some embroidery floss. So we're just going to, when I'm working with cheesecloth, I like to just put the glue on the base and glue the base, and then I can just layer over the cheesecloth, really usually without putting any more glue on, and usually hopefully not getting a bunch of glue on my hands. So I'm just going to put the light of that. So let me see if I can just lay a little glue on there. And then this piece, which is from Vintage Crocheted piece, I think it was some of the background, just goes on top there. And then I'm going to take this piece that was cut off a string of them, and I'm just going to glue across the top. There we go. And if I had been organized, I would have had my tweezers out. It's nice to use your tweezers for this kind of thing if you've got them. There. And so there she blows. There's another one. And it just lifts up. So let's look at really quickly. This piece, I showed you this piece in my quilt top digital kit. I've made it smaller, and I thought I might make one more. So I'm just going to put it down in here. Usually try to line things up at the top. Sometimes it's a little tougher with a lace that wants to bend. It's a little tougher to work with. Okay. We're just going to put a little trim down the side. Not that it needs it, but we like it, so why not? Put a little trim on it to hold it down. Sorry, got to get the glue off my fingers. And I always just go off the edge a little and we just come across. And then later you can trim things if you need to. And use all those great bits and pieces that you have. And I have several paper that show different ways that I thought were fun to use paper and pictures and visuals. If you have a paper cluster or a fabric cluster, you can just put them on. So these are just a few of the different ways that I made some banner tucks. And then in my 2 feed sack fabric journals, I have used them. Let's see if I can, here's just past the vellum page. Here is one that's also from my embroidery, my Vintage Linens embroidery digital kit. See, I have put a butterfly applique at the top and then just a little bit of this gorgeous trim You don't need much. So whenever I have little offcuts, they go in a bowl and they wait for their time. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for stopping by and doing this with me. If you enjoyed the video, would you please give me a thumbs up and subscribe? Have a great day. Bye.